How is it being black in Canada? I feel like being black in Canada, you don't really get like the representation that you want. It's harder because everything that's portrayed here as being black is a legacy of the United States. Everything, when it comes even to our culture, everything is American. Hip hop, rap, you know, the way we dress and all of that. And I feel like we tend to forget that in Canada there's a diaspora that's much bigger than Americans, you know? I feel like we're different. We're all from Africa, we're from the West Indies, we're Jamaican, we're Haitian, you know? We're Trini, we're from Ghana, we're from Nigeria, and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So it definitely feels like all of that just gets swept under the rug and we're all one cover. We try to embody things that isn't ours, you know? Not that it's a bad thing, you know? It could be a good thing. I mean, I like rap too, I like hip hop too, but I also like African music, and that isn't spoken about enough, you know? I feel like it's hard too, like, when you want to talk about racism in Canada, like, people don't really want to acknowledge it here, you know what I mean? I think the other thing too is like, something with being black and being women in Canada is like this whole thing of being a constant threat. I feel like black men are also a threat too, they're seen as threats, but like black women, like, we're seen as something even more threatening, you know? We're utilized and hypersexualized and used for all these other things, and at the same time we're demonized for our bodies and our skin tone and everything that we are. There's such thing as white, you know, woman victimhood, you know, them always being victim and us always being the aggressor. There's no such thing as being a black woman being a victim. There's no such thing as being the one that is being assaulted. Why is my integrity being insulted and it's not talked about because I'm black? You know what I mean? It's just really fucking annoying. And when you want to talk about it, I feel like, yo, it's just, I'm telling you, white women are like the true, like, they're worse than white men at some degree. Because white women have this thing where, you know, they do understand the whole concept of being, you know, the intersectionality of things, you know? Like, white women know what it is to struggle because they're women. They're women in a patriarchal world. But yet they'll still look the other way when it comes to race and black women in our struggle, or women of color in our struggle. It's worse. Like my mom always says, there's something in the Bible, I forgot which verse, but it says that those who know but still act wrong will be condemned way worse than those who didn't know. And I feel like white men don't really know because they've always lived in a world of privilege, so how could you know if you've never experienced any type of marginalization, you know? It's so real. Like, I don't know, and also like, I think the biggest issue with also like being black and a woman in Canada is like when you want to talk about like being black womanhood with black men, and our struggles, it's just like what the, like they're so like they're just not here. They don't want to hear it, you know, because they feel so attacked. And like it's like the purpose of this is not to attack you. The purpose is for you to be accountable and acknowledge what the fuck I'm going through. And I want you to try to change it. And I want you to try to make it better for me. And I want you to help me so we can make this work. But they don't want to hear that. And the way that they respond is by anger and by attacking you, and they prove your point in the fucking end. Like, if I'm talking to you about black men aggressing black women constantly in different ways, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, and you respond by attacking me by saying that it's not true, then you're just proving what I'm trying to say, you know? And a lot of, I think, this whole imagery, this whole persona of the angry black woman, silence black women. I don't feel protected by black men. I don't feel honored. I don't feel loved. But then black women continuously give black men love, you know, and we root for them and we rally for them. This whole Black Lives Matter movement was created by 3 black women, 4 black men. But it's like it's a black movement for all of us, you know. And like you don't see black men marching for us. You don't see them do that for us. They don't. I feel like they just kind of live in this world where to them it's just like, you know. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna fucking stand behind somebody that's not gonna stand behind me. Like at this point, it's deeper than just the black movement. It's about like if you're not for me, I'm not gonna be for you. If you're not gonna be an ally to me, I'm not gonna be an ally for you. I'm not gonna help you. Because why the fuck would I do that? Because at the end of the day, if I end up getting shot, who's gonna march for me? That shit doesn't make sense. That shit doesn't make sense. And as far as black women in the culture, I feel like black women are at the forefront of the culture. Will always be. That's just how it is. And I feel like, I don't know, nobody can steal that away from us, not even black men, you know? It's just like, it's ours. I feel like, I don't know, I was trying to transition between retail and a more corporate job, like administration, just a higher paying job, you know, entry level. I've struggled a lot with having natural hair, like being a black one having natural hair. I feel like that's something that's not talked about at all. Like, even on Twitter, you see people clowning, talking about like, oh, braids don't belong to black women. I've never had to, like, black women don't lose jobs over their hair. And it's like, we really do, like, we really do. Like, you work at a high brand retail store and you had weave, and all of a sudden you're trying to transition to natural hair. You know, you're going to the big shop and you cut your hair. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy. Like, and your manager might look at you sideways, you know, and I was trying to do that, and I was in a space where I decided to be natural and grow locks, and I was transitioning between retail and having an administrative job, and when I would go to interviews, as soon as I'd step in, they just look at me and be like, you know, you can see it in their eyes. And I feel like they don't expect it even less because I'm Haitian, and I have a French name, so I feel like they're not really sure who I am, what do I look like, or you know, and when I walked in, they see that it's this tall, dark-skinned black girls with locks. It kind of just puts them off a little bit. And already then, they already have those misconceptions about me. And they won't give me the opportunity to show what I have to offer. It's hard. It's a true struggle. And I think a lot of black girls, because of that, don't want to be natural. Being born here in Canada and being Haitian, like, I don't know, like, Haiti is like Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere at this moment. So I feel weird when, like, Haitians who are born in Haiti come here and try to tell me that I'm not Haitian. It's like, what the fuck are you trying to tell me? Like, I am Haiti's future. That's just the truth. At the end of the day, like, when I grow up and get all my shit figured out and I get money and I'm comfortable enough, then best believe that I am going to do what I can do for Haiti. You know what I mean? Because that's where my culture stems from. You know, I might have a different experience of being Haitian because I'm born here, and obviously I'm also Canadian. But it's just a double identity. That's the only thing that I have that they don't, is that I have a double identity and that they're just Haitian. But yeah, it doesn't really faze me. I still consider myself Haitian. As far as being more Haitian than being Canadian, like, I can't really choose between both. I feel like I'm such a mix of both. I feel like I just, you know, even when I'm at home, I do stuff that my parents don't understand. They're just like, oh, these Canadian kids, you know? And it's just like, that's me, like, that's what I do, and I'm sure that a lot of kids here can resonate with that. Black people don't have, the black community doesn't have financial literacy. I think that's the issue. Like, we don't come here investing to do our own businesses, you know what I mean? Like you said, like, there's always a Chinese neighborhood, an Arab neighborhood, but a black neighborhood is, you know, community housing. That's what it is. And, like, we don't have our own community. Like, I always say, there's black people in Ottawa, but there's no black community. We don't stick together, we don't rally together to do activities for our own people, you know what I mean? I feel like most black people who are really well off try so hard to assimilate with white standards that they don't even want to be tied or affiliated with the black community or the black people in Ottawa. It's just really difficult. It's just difficult to move forward that way. You just don't end up moving forward, you just end up being stuck.